Seeing the time being 6 o'clock, we'll bring the Osterville Village Association meeting to order. First on the agenda is the Secretary's report. There's copies here. We haven't seen it. Is there any questions on the Secretary's report? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve? Second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Treasury report, Al.
Okay, we have 3 accounts here. In our main checking account, we have $3,505.65. The money market fund, $3,007.64. And in our Robert Smith fund, which is the fund which we use to pay the gifts out, we have $21,819.31. And I'm not sitting on any checks coming in or going out. So it's all total, it's about 29,000 in the 3 accounts.
Al, can I just bring up something that Pete and I were talking about that John brought up actually? And that is, if in your reports, could you in the future separate out the donations to the Jim Crocker fund that we're going to use for at the playground? It's memorial, because those funds are being lumped in under the Smith Fund.
Yeah.
But they're actually targeted just for that. And it's around, you'll find the exact number, but it's around 7,000. Some of that, yeah. That right, John?
I think it's around 7,800.
7,800, something like that. But, you know, that Smith Fund number is large in part because of those funds, which really should be separated.
Okay, so they're going to be used for all the school projects.
No, these were funds donated in memory of Jim Crocker. Yeah, so it'll be some kind of memorial in the future. For him.
Okay.
Whether, you know, the Fields project is complete. But John reminded me of that. It's great thing to separate out so that we don't get confused ourselves. The other thing is that in recognition of Giving Tuesday and the fact that in reviewing some of these Smith Fund records, which Al kindly put together for us, it's been a while since the OVA has donated anything to the Osterville Library. So I would like to propose that the Osterville Village Association, in honor of Giving Tuesday and our longtime partnership with the Osterville Library, donate $2,000 out of the Smith Fund for all that good work they do all year long.
I would second that. Any discussion?
I think it's a fabulous idea. I think it's kind of our heartbeat. Thank you. We're grateful.
Long overdue.
That's great.
We need to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That's great. Thank you, Bruce.
Okay.
Okay, can you drop it off this week? Check or?
Sure.
Sure, that's great. Thanks again, Cindy, for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Really appreciate all your efforts on everything to make this happen. Next is the OBPA report. Cindy.
Okay, so the OBPA has been busy and had a productive month finalizing plans for the Christmas stroll. Our sincere thanks to the Osterville Village Association for their continued collaboration and sharing expenses to make this year's event even more memorable and the festive evening for the community. We've added also activities on the shoulder weekends, December 6th and December 20th, to help draw visitors to the village, along with the beautiful lights throughout the village that will help with the holiday shopping experience. A list of the events I just put out, just hot off the press now, that'll be going on during the stroll. We also created the charities flyer there, so if you wanted to make a donation to the Neighbors Fund or the Salvation Army this year, that's how we're doing that. I spoke with the town licensing division, and we had sent out an email to our membership saying that if you were going to serve any alcohol, you do need to have a permit, and that if anybody wants to, they will extend a hearing for this Thursday so people can do it. But We're also gonna have them come talk at an OBPA meeting, so people understand the whole permitting process within the town of Barnstable and what is required. I'd like to extend thanks to Jack Cotton and Bishop Builders for assembling and installing the creche on Chesbrough Square. Our appreciation goes to Mahoney Garden Center for the Christmas tree in the center of the gazebo, and Julia Gardens does the maze that everybody gets to enjoy in the village. Jack's Timers team is going to be fixing the trash boxes and putting in holiday cuttings, and our team has already put some of the lights on them. And again, would like to thank all our committee members who are all volunteers in the OVA for their collaboration, and we are very grateful, and thank you also for your generous donation to the library. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Cindy. Could you just elaborate a little bit, because it's come up in terms of the licensing this year? This is the first year in 56 that we have to have a license for alcohol for some of their shops.
Yes, I guess they were supposed to, and they'd gone around to some of the stores last year and scared everybody. But if you are going to serve alcohol, you have to get a one-day license for it. And it's not like huge expense, but it is, if it's $25, $35, $40, somewhere around there. Normally they want you to do it a few months in advance.
Yep.
I applied for our license September 14th for the stroll. I still haven't received it yet. I did call, that's how all this started. So we had sent out, letting people know, because I don't want anybody to get shut down. I don't know what they do, but I'm sure they're gonna be out on the stroll evening. So they are doing a special hearing this Thursday. If somebody gets their paperwork in prior, they can get the appropriate license for the stroll.
So like tomorrow, basically.
Pretty much. And I have something downstairs if somebody needs something.
And you haven't gotten yours, but have they been approving them?
I'm all the way down to, I think I'm at the police department, and I called David Anthony yesterday, and then I talked to somebody else, and it's like, I don't know why they're holding me up for that, but,
And what if, just one last thing, what if you are serving and you don't have a license, like if people didn't know? What happens?
well, ignorance is no excuse of the law. But you'd have to talk to them. That's not, I have the paperwork downstairs. I'll grab a copy, but, you can always ask for forgiveness and.
Sure, okay,
So everyone's applied their class.
that's right, yeah.
And I wonder if John Crow, as a counselor, could just check in with someone in town hall to.
I think David Anthony's the person.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think it's probably pretty likely that they were supposed to have licenses for many years and everyone just.
I agree. And there's different parameters. Like if you're doing, from my understanding is if we had an OBPA cocktail party here for membership, we would not need a license because we're not selling it. It's not open to the public and it's, for members only. But if we were selling it open to the public, we would need a one-day license like we have to get for other events.
Makes sense. Thank you very much, Cindy. Next, I'm very pleased to introduce Tammy Leone, the Executive Director of Kid Meals, who's going to fill us in a little bit on all the great work that they do.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me here tonight. I appreciate it. I'm Tammy Leone, and you said the Executive Director of Kid Meals. I put together a really quick slide, nothing too long, just to talk a little bit about our program. But I wanted to just talk a little about food insecurity and how it relates really to Cape Cod. But first, the rates on the Cape are hovering around 11%. So if we have 220,000 plus people on the Cape, that's about 20 to 23,000 total people on Cape Cod who are at risk of going hungry. And I have more statistics that'll show the breakout with children versus adults. For children, the impact for hunger is going to be poor academics. They tend to have more health problems. They tend to miss more school because of being sick. It's also been linked to asthma and anemia for children, and a less known but more prevalent studies have been coming up talking about the link between childhood hunger and obesity. And it sounds like it doesn't make sense. It's like counterintuitive, but hungry children, and the more we talk to guidance counselors and become more aware ourselves, tend to overeat when they have food available. because they're telling themselves, if I eat enough, I'm gonna be full, and I'll be good until the next time a meal's available. That leads to a chronic pattern of overeating, and so there have been more studies about that coming up. So childhood, hunger has a lot of impacts. This chart that I put up there, there's about 23,000 people who are estimated across the Cape that at any given point we're having some level of food insecurity, and of that, 4,600 are children. And you'll see that it's grown. The pandemic really, threw a wrench in all of our worlds, but the pandemic really exposed and further aggravated an existing issue of, financial challenges and food insecurity. And the rate has, had gone up, tapered down a little bit, and now you can see it's consistently growing over the last few years. And that really has to do with our, cost of living that we have here, our affordability, constraints that we have, especially with housing and inflation. And so quickly, it's really hard to tell if someone's hungry. It's not just Cape Cod that it's invisible, but it's really hard. It can be your neighbors, it can be someone down the street, someone that you would not know that's having this concern or problem. And there are a lot of families who will make just enough money to be above being able to get SNAP. And so even though on paper it looks like they don't need the support, they really do need the support. So a lot of times that means they have to make a choice between paying for utilities or rent or buying food, also medication or buying food. And oftentimes in harder cases, it comes down to having to skip a meal so their children can eat. So Cape Kid Meals, our program really is focused on helping alleviate childhood hunger. So we have 3 core initiatives. We have a weekend backpacks where we send home, and I have an example I'll show you after, a backpack full of food that is, to help a child throughout the weekend when school meals are unavailable. As we all know, Massachusetts has all 3 school meals, which is wonderful. So Monday through Friday, children can get breakfast and lunch at school, but when they go home on the weekends is when they're going to be at higher risk of not having access to enough food. Then we have a school snack program. We provide snacks that are shipped directly to our partner schools for children who are unable to bring them from home. They can use them for both during school and after school activities. And then we have school pantry programs where we install pantries in high schools across the Cape. And that allows our older students to access and take food that they know how to prepare, that they like. And the schools work really hard to make it discreet so children will be more apt to take it. In this school year, we are already serving in total with our programs over 2,400 children every week in 52 schools across the Cape and Wareham. And just a couple facts on the weekend backpack program. Every child receives one. So if there's 4 children in families and they're all in schools, all 4 children get their own weekend backpack. There are cases where extra siblings who may not be in your school, need help. We will support them as long as the families work for the schools and we can coordinate. We'll take care of that. And right now we're also supporting in Barnstable 25 students who are currently facing unreliable housing. And so this shows just our numbers of students supported across our programs. So a little over 1,000 students are taking home a weekend backpack meal. We have 950 children participating in school snacks weekly, and about 700 children who are accessing our pantries right now. And then this chart will show you, our biggest school, our biggest towns with biggest population, biggest school districts is obviously where our numbers are highest. So Barnstable, Dennis, Yarmouth, and Falmouth are where we have our highest numbers of children we're supporting. But that gives you the idea of where we, the numbers throughout the different school districts. And this is just a map of the schools that we are currently in. Serving right now. Questions? I believe the map up. I'm trying to make it kind of brief, but any questions?
Yeah, so is this thing you work directly with all the schools?
Yeah, we partner with the schools and the schools identify the children. It's completely confidential. Only the schools will know which children are participating.
So it's done at the town level rather than the school level?
It's done on a school level. So we partner directly with the schools. And then they identify the children and then we just deliver our bags there and against the street and we don't know anything except for the number of children that meet through the school.
I think we talked a little bit less, the last, meeting about people kind of blown away on the amount of children and so forth that are shown here. And the fact that a lot of people have no idea on that. It's great to be discreet, but should be more of a push to let people know like how this program works. So I mean, you're talking to us, obviously, and if you go online, you've got a great website. Is there a way to make people more aware of this?
I mean, we do try in terms of discreet, I'm specifically meaning just we don't wanna, we don't ever know anything, so we protect the confidentiality of our families.
Yeah.
But we do, as an organization, try to get our word out there all the time. We're always trying to share what we do. And get the information out, and even after all these years, it's surprising, we're coming up on 10 years and all over 10 years now, going to our 11th year, and I know for a lot of folks, they don't know who we are.
Right.
And that's just probably because we're a really small organization and we don't have a lot of advertising, but we definitely do try to get out and speak to people and talk about it and share whenever we can, for sure. And I agree. I mean, if people do not consider the Cape a place that has its concern, and we do.
I may have to miss your great presentation and sort of lot of revealing information. I have a concern about this, the same group of children who are being deprived of food. And we have to really worry about during the time of summer because they have a vacation. We have no idea if they are fed adequately at home. So this sort of brings me to the conclusion to make that this should be a state issue. And I would sort of recommend and suggest that we speak to the local representatives and senators, sort of encourage them to pass a bill to address this issue. And as we all know, the children are growing and they're the future citizens, and they deserve equal sort of right to have adequate nutrition and good health. So I think we have to sort of expand the role. It's not easy, but I think it has to be, sort of from a group, and as a group we can sort of address the legislators.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I will point out, the Cape does do partner with the federal government to do summer eats programs, and it has different sites throughout the Cape for children who can come and take meals or have meals on site, and that is a federally funded program, summer eats. And we also operate in the summer, but you're completely correct. There needs to be more. But we also operate all summer long. We partner with our schools and we say if the students that we're supporting are going to be going to one of your rec programs or one of your summer camps or something, and we'll deliver the bags there. So we are aware of that summer gap, and I do agree probably needs to be done to make sure, because there are children who are not going through those programs. So thank you.
Cindy, you have.
Are there other nonprofits that do this, or are you the only one that does it in the schools? Because I remember hearing this food pantries. The food pantries are yours too in the school?
Yes, the pantries are ours as well in the school. So we are the only program that partners directly with schools and provides, food for children specifically.
Just out of curiosity, where are you based?
Actually, we are right up the street. We rent 3 rooms in the old Kennedy Farm building. So we just moved in there a few years ago. Up until then, we were using bar spaces in various areas across the Cape.
There's not a lot of folks here. It's a horrible night out there, but do you have a website you could just share for the folks who watch this meeting afterwards online?
Oh, sure. It's not even on here. Yeah, it's capekidmeals.org.
That's easy.
I'll put it in the.
Okay.
Yeah, who puts these meals together?
So Shelf-stable food, I have an example of a bag here that goes home. I don't know where I should.
You can spread it out right here, it'll be on camera.
Okay, so this is an example, my little thing from time. This is an example of the food that goes home. So everything's shelf-stable because we don't know a lot of our children that we support might be not going home right after school and they may or may not have access to
So you
refrigeration.
don't need to hire a chef.
You don't need to hire a chef. So we provide, we're providing breakfast items, we're providing lunch, we're providing, snacks, and we also provide, this is actually a new, partnership we have with the outreach program, and they make these meals, and you either have to microwave them or put them, or do them on stovetop. It only requires water. And they have added protein in them, so we have 4 different varieties that we're using. So the max serves 6, and the quick servings. So maybe that we can make this work, but good to give you an idea of sample. And you Nancy packed for that, and she's familiar with this program as well, so she comes to Max all the time.
Kim, how many volunteers would come in like on a regular day? As far as I don't need volunteers, but like, and it's different, people come in at different days, but what's the, like on today, like how many people were?
About 23 on Tuesdays and about the same amount on Thursdays. We pack on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Tuesday afternoons and Thursday mornings. We have over 200 volunteers in total in our database that help us with outreach, food drives, fundraising, packing, putting away pallets, all sorts of different things we can help with. So we have an amazing volunteer group.
Oh, that's great. It is funding, you mentioned some from the Fed, but what, is there state money, is there just people donate, how does that?
Yeah, and we don't get any federal funding, we are a private nonprofit, so, that was for, the summer youth program. We apply for grants, we do fundraising, one fundraising event a year, our gala, and, we, work with different foundations and just work with different individuals and try to get the word out there.
What is your one wish reach thing that you would want for your organization?
We have multiple,
Or a few.
no, I mean, I think for our organization, we're growing rapidly, more so now than we're growing really at a faster pace right now. So constant having support from volunteers and support from funding is really paramount for us to continue to provide the support we're doing.
The other questions? Is you have one last one to me, in terms of the funding, do you have shortfalls, or do you, I mean, is there a, you reach your goals for funding every year, or is it, it's expanding?
We've been fortunate to be able to reach our goals for funding. But anyone who's a nonprofit knows constant. You're constantly doing that. It's a cycle. It's part of everything you're doing. You've got to keep up with it.
Are you doing some outreach like with radio, WXTK, Ed Lambert? I mean, they certainly would be happy to have you as a guest and
Yeah,
do that a couple of times.
We have done that several times, so
Yeah.
we'll definitely do that again.
Yeah, they're very open to stuff like that.
I was just thinking that, Robert Smith helped a lot of kids as an educational consultant. And it's given Tuesday, and you just said to the group that you're based in Osterville. And I think that, this is the type of thing, if we want to help get the word out, we can start by sending a letter out, maybe the next one. Sure. That we supported a local organization that's helping all of Cape Cod. And as John has said many times, sometimes at the council level, Osterville kind of gets picked on as, the village that doesn't do enough in the town versus, the tax revenue in terms of affordable housing and things like that. This is an opportunity where we can help the organization gain exposure. We can help them financially and also get the word out in the next letter about some of the different things that we did, such as we just donated to the library, $2,000. Last month, we helped the OBPA, with a, what was it, $2,400 donation, for the Christmas stroll. So, to me, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that map.
Right.
And, if Osterville won't help Osterville-based organization doing all this good on Cape Cod, I think that's one of my purposes. But I think that, we could link that to this easily, based upon its past education. So I would propose that, someone make a motion that we contribute to this program.
Okay. Appreciate any feedback, just further discussion.
How much do we have in treasury right now?
Help.
Just.
The checking account 3,500, the money market fund 3,000, and the Robert Smith fund plus the Jim Crocker fund 21,800. So that's about 28,000 all told between the three accounts.
So it's basically 19 minus 7,800. So it's over 12.
Yeah.
We still have another 1,000, just so you know, to OBPA.
One of the things when the Smith Fund Committee discussed was the fact that this fund has been there, but it's basically dormant. It's not being used, and in order to have it gain some recognition and we want people to support it. And one way to get people to support it is by telling people what we're using it for.
So,
And there's been, for, I don't know how long I've been on this board, 12 years. And the Smith Fund amount never really changes. So, the money's just sitting there, really, we should be putting it to work.
Agreed.
Hospital-based organization doing all this good. And, kids don't have enough to eat. I mean, hey, this is a no-brainer.
I agree, I think most everybody agrees.
I was gonna say, if OVA wanted to do 500, OBPA would match for 500 to make it for 1,000.
There we go.
That's all, that's 500 was the number I had in mind, I didn't know what. But I'll make the motion, I'll move that we fund from the Robert Smith Fund, the sum of $500 to Cape Kids Meals.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
I'll take care of it.
It was a very eye-opening presentation.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
I didn't ask you, how many years have you been with the program?
I thought it was actually a volunteer in 2015 and
Okay.
fell in love with it, and then just gonna stay as a volunteer, but then became a full-time volunteer though. So
Good for you.
I'm in my 4th year being executive director.
Great.
Yeah.
Doing an excellent job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
so much. Thank you.
Okay, next, town council report, John.
Okay, the last couple of weeks, our last meeting, we had a major issue come up where a lot of people came to the meeting, talk about townwide speed limits. And there was a motion put forward, an item put forward to lower the average speed limit or the speed limit on roads that are covered as thickly settled and already have the minimum rate to go down to 30 miles an hour, which is what the town has for all roads that are not otherwise designated, 25 miles an hour. I think everybody in the council was in favor of this. But I actually voted against it only because I think the town needed to do some more work on the item as it came up, deciding where those roads would be, and where they wouldn't be. So I think people were disappointed, but I don't think they should be. I think a lot of us are going to keep up on this and make sure we come up with a reasonable and graduated plan that will say, okay,
many suggestions from the DPW and from all these other things, and also particular neighborhoods and that kind of thing. And then bring on those roads as we go ahead and do it. So, just want to let everybody know that that's not something that was taken lightly, and why and a number of other councils, the majority of the time, it needed to be tightened up at our ward and be more specific. So, but we plan on going ahead with that in the near future. The onboarding of new counselors was a couple of weeks ago, so they all got materials. In the past, you just got the town ordinances and a few other things, and go home and study them. So, and catch up that one. The town is actually putting a program together, make it easier for new counselors to understand what their job is and how to really do it. We have 2 meetings coming up this Thursday and then the next Thursday. We're back to back because of the holidays. So the most important thing that's going to happen is this meeting Thursday, we will be taking nominations for the president, vice president, chair, and vice chair of the town council. So we have a lot of new people on the board. We're not sure where we will go. And so we'll have the nominations, and then speeches will be on the 11th of December, and vote will be on the date. So that's what's coming. Do you have any questions?
I have a question about the speed limit. I know staff wanted to go away and do some work. You know, this isn't a new issue, right? It's like the single issue that really rises to the top in every survey the town's done for a bunch of years. So it didn't take staff by surprise or anything like that. I'm just wondering, in light of that, whether there'll be some kind of calendar for feedback and action on that, you know, the road safety issue.
Yeah, I agree, and that's one thing I'll bring up with the staff as we move forward. So they bring it with the town manager, and he'll take it forward with the staff and put a schedule that's time sensitive, and then we'll get a feedback, and then we'll go ahead and decide what the policy of the motion should be as we go ahead.
Yeah, I just mentioned that because I watched the public comment, and it's one of those times where you were just so proud of the people who live here. They were terrific, articulate, really thoughtful and upset and organized. And so I just hope they get some afternoon.
I agree. I think I could just start right with the village centers to go down to 25. Because it's still 30 through this village. And doesn't make any sense when you get right in the middle of the shopping district and people trying to cross the road. So it's not something that we want to make sure everybody knew. It's not something we would have no interest in. In fact, we do have an interest in it. It's just that the item that came through wasn't complete and wasn't thought out to the extent we needed. So we'll be working on it.
John, if I may make a comment on the existing speed limits that we are facing, and that ever been changed for the last 20 years? Because I have to understand that the number of vehicles on the roads 40 years ago were less, and the speed limits were sort of assigned to the traffic, how many vehicles on the road.
Yeah.
But as we all know, that the number of vehicles on the road has increased significantly.
Yeah.
So does that sort of lead us to make a decision to reduce the speed limit?
Yeah, I think it does. Some of the roads we have are state roads, so you can't do anything about that. Whether Highway 6 or Falmouth Road, a number of those are state roads. I was looking at something like West Main Street. 25 miles an hour on West Main Street is never going to happen. Well, you can put it, but nobody's. So it'll be something where we stick at 30 or 35, whatever it is right now. But we're talking about all the other roads in town, and many of them are feeder roads, even though they're through neighborhoods. So those are the roads we are going to thickly settle neighborhoods. So everything that's labeled thickly settled at this point, I think we're looking to get down to 25 miles an hour. Same thing with the East Village speed limit and that kind of thing. So it'll have to be. It takes a lot of work to decide which are which and vice versa and see how it goes. So that's why it'll take some work from the staff to come back to us to go ahead get a serious vote on it. And we did have a serious vote. I'm saying that I think the rest of the council thought it was a little too open-ended and not clean enough, and would be a little chaotic trying to do it without a well-written plan.
So what I observed, it's a repetition, like during the time of rush hour, it is 7:38 or people are in a rush because they need to get to their place of work in time. And unfortunately, some of the roads, they are sort of, they go through undulating hills. So someone wants to make a left turn from Peter Roads. They would look right and then left and right before. So if the road is clear, they would move, but they will not be able to see any vehicles speeding up out of vision because of the hills. So that portion of the road, one is to sort of, you have to keep in mind to regulate the speed.
I see that every morning coming out of my Tower Hill area, come down towards Wimpy's on the left, and you get West Bay coming. I look both ways, and by the time I'm pulling out, somebody's come flying by Wimpy's, and that happened twice in the last couple of weeks. Is that, they don't, there's a hill that we can't see down by the condos down there. So anyway, there's no doubt that we need some, and the most important of any of this is whether we're going to enforce it. And the town has limited resources in enforcement, and they move them around during times of the year, so that's also how we mitigate it in signage and that kind of thing. Anyway, we'll be working on that very quickly.
John, I wanted to ask you, I wasn't able to see what happened at the November 20th Town Council meeting, but I was curious if you could give us a summary of what happened with the Save Greater Dowses Beach signs and the council reaction to, that event happening, because there was an article in the paper today about it.
Yeah, the council did not discuss it, but it's well known out there, and we also, I think it might have been on Councilor Convent. I'll swing about that, but I went and talked to the chief that in first break and made sure she knew about it, and she did, and asked her what's going on, how to. So she said it's on an investigation. See what's going to take today. So it really comes down to my sign was just out of range of my cameras. And I can adjust the range of my cameras, but if you adjust where that sign was, every car that goes by will turn my camera.
Yeah.
So it's like, so if you don't put it out by the street, then nobody will see it. So
Yeah.
they may have been lucky, but they knew what they were doing, and they did it in 2 nights, I guess, 3 weeks ago. It was a Wednesday and Thursday night, and used bulk colors to do it. So they had to spend money on bulk colors just to make happen, and they cut it right down below the sign and just left the signs there. Yeah.
So it's hard to believe that this would be a group of high school kids or something like that. I think this is targeted. And,
Yeah, that was organized, right?
Yeah, I think it was organized too. And I think they're losing ground in Boston in some respects. The governor's sort of taking a different tack in some of these things. And they're reacted out.
I want to say that I actually filed a complaint because it happened to my house,
Yeah.
and the police came up,
Uh-huh.
and I got on my door cam coming to the door.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So I was very pleased that they actually responded.
That's great. I think somebody's gonna say something, or it's gonna come out, somebody had to see one person or a car or something.
Well, I think the police, don't they have access to the ring bill?
Only if you have it connected up to the service that has the police stop when the rings go off. On my camera, I don't have that service. I can buy it, but I don't tend to use it because I can just see it myself on the phone. No problem. Going on, but yeah, there are things there, and it's a question of whether the ring catches some image that can be used. Mine didn't catch the image because like I said, I didn't adjust the range of one of the cameras to that end of the street because it's not that fine. That if you do that, you get like every single car will ring the bell that goes by the street.
Well, I can't follow my place, but the same thing.
Yeah.
The one that goes down by the mailbox.
Yeah.
Where the sign was there's bushes and things and you just can't see.
Yeah.
I went through all of them, so.
Yeah, there may be something out there, but I'll find something. So, I'll think about it, and like I said, we'll probably hear something one way or the other.
I would say it appears to be an organized effort. And in all likelihood, eventually somebody will brag about it on social media. But that's where you find it. Just a guess. It's just a shame.
Anything else we're doing? Thank you very much, Sean. Old business, very briefly, obviously, everyone knows it strolls to 7/12. Hopefully that's the only thing that's determinative of the night, but and again, Cindy and everyone, thank you for all the input on that. It is one of the best attended strolls as far as the towns and the Cape, which is great. And the website, excuse me, on co-web designers, they say
it's me now, cause I had philanthropy day, 'cause
Sure.
I run that and this getting the stroll, so. I'm hoping, once the stroll's over, we'll get it up, and
that's great.
yeah.
Thank you. And if anyone has anything in their old business to discuss. New business briefly, Bruce just went over the sign list on. With the help of, wife Nancy, we put together Muji printing, and the flyer that, city put together. Mailing going out, I believe the end of this week, which is over every resident in Osterville. It's the flyer to donate to the Salvation Army and the Neighbors Fund, which was a needy fund. That's gonna be on one side of the mailer. The other side is an Osterville President's letter with support points on Osterville Town Council regarding the funding for the playground, the OBPA, the website development, the stroll, and a good paragraph on the Robert Smith Fund, so again, people can see what it's for. And then on the bottom, there's for people that aren't members to the OBA or want to donate, they can send in a membership form. A little bit different than we've done in the past. John has done it for years and years and years. And thank you for that. We're going to see how the results come back on that. And again, with Bruce put in the wording for the Robert Smith Fund, it was a full page. We condensed it down, and again, it's enough to get people a little more educated in terms of what Robert Smith Fund does. The fact that we did that tonight with the library going forward, great idea, and I think we're going to see a lot more response for funding on that. So thank you, Bruce, for that. And let's see, I would say that's it for new business. Any public comment? I'm sorry.
I go on with the business. I did talk to Mark Marinaccio, the town architect, and they're fully planning on putting RFPs out for the playground and starting in late spring, March 8th. So, and it will go through the summer and complete it by the end of the year. So, finally have some action, and people will see it during summer.
They're gonna pave that gravel lot. I saw that was gonna be towards the end of the,
Yes,
good. Would you know when that's gonna be done? Cause,
I do not know. I would imagine that would be close to later,
okay.
but I don't know when that would be. So all pieces are there together and should be in some progress pretty soon. So that'll be
How many
long
years
time.
ago?
17.
17 at least. Yeah.
I'm reminded of the Palisade fires in California.
Yeah.
And all the big discussion, the meetings they had earlier, and they were gonna speed up the first process to get permits or anything else. I just heard the other day, there's literally nothing done.
That's and I said it, thank you again, John, and I said it in the letter that went out, just thank you for pushing this over the finish line. So,
Unbelievable when I see it. I can promise, so it's.
that's huge. The fact that we're at this point, Mark Crowley would be, he's a believer now. We're all on board, so. And I know, like I said, I know it's not easy because they don't like us. And that's great for.
Well, staff has been very good. Staff doesn't have all that silliness on it. They wait for us to get in the position in line with for this funding, and they design a really terrific, this is gonna be something like, so I think we'll get a lot of kids coming to town. From other places that their parents, and hopefully they'll, that's money.
It's an asset for us, but I would say for the whole.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
You from Texas, they love this library, and John knows Shelby and Scott, they'll be so excited.
long time. Thank you, John. Any other new business?
I would like to propose an idea, and I would like everybody in this room to give a comment. I was thinking about setting up a water cooler with a water dispenser, the ice cold, that douses these other bigger dishes for summer doors. Because usually in the summertime, there's a large summer people they like to enjoy the beach. And I covered the month is number one, it is sort of discourage people to use plastic bottles in their home. And one example to sort of control the use of plastic. Secondly, we definitely decrease any incidents of dehydration, which is quite common amongst retired people and also children, because they're different metabolism. I understand it's sort of, it can be costly, but it can be also used on a seasonal basis. We don't make it huge. And it will set up a good example as to how we are conscious about the environmental.
So you're thinking of like one of the kiosks in the airport when you fill up your own.
And I had a chance to speak to the head of the recreation department, and his answer was that he was going to look at, he was going to speak to the governments of the town to see if it's feasible. Don't think to be pretty difficult, but it's going to be a lot of doubts. Nothing is to encourage also to have some significant contribution from the state, because it's one form of promoting state of good health, how to amuse the population. And perhaps it may spread to the rest of the diseases, I'm not sure, especially.
You envision that being town funded with town infrastructure or something, or privately funded?
So I think the construction is quite sophisticated and then we have a compression to sort of keep the water. First, it says we start out and also keep it cooler. And one can sort of have the same sort of setup, like having a number of bottles that say almost similar to what we see within a sports arena, stores, and boats.
Maybe that could be a new addition to the park and the fields,
Good idea.
like where the new bathrooms will go, put one of those.
Oh, there is going to be one right near the entrance to the playground and at the corner of the tennis courts. There's going to be a bottle filled.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
There we go. So there's one.
It's very sort of so serious concern among the elderly because some of the people they deal with sodium content in the body very differently. So if there is some degree, significant degree of dehydration and those sort of low sodium, they can some fainting spell, become unfunctional. It's not that common, but when it happens, it's of serious concern.
Thank you. Any public comments?
Can we just put that on a future agenda just to continue to talk about that a little bit and see, explore like funding sources and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, seeing the time being 6:49, the motion would be on the meeting.